Good afternoon, super friends, and welcome to the Monday, May 4th edition of the Sacred News and Weather. I have some notes that I wrote on a piece of mail because I was standing in the middle of my kitchen when the download came through today. And I got to tell you, I'm a little bit sick of the theme that keeps coming through, and I had some resistance, and I was kind of hoping to go somewhere else today, but apparently, we're gonna keep going. We're not keep going. It's just there's just new threads and new layers and new information that is coming through. And it's rooted really in everything that I've been talking about since last week. The whole feeling of not actually having language for a balanced divine masculine and divine feminine in relationship because we have squashed the divine feminine for the last 2000 years. So trying to talk about relationships in those terms end up sounding like super trad wifey, like, and I don't love it. We may be going a little bit there this week or today anyway. But we may not be going all the way there. It just know that it's in the energy, and that some of what is coming out and through is trying to come out in like new language. And so I don't know if I'm not making sense, logical sense. I hope you can at least feel what is underneath there. The other thing that I wanted to bring forward, which I find so interesting, is that, the last two messages that I delivered here were very specific messages, and we're going to be picking up on that theme here today. And most of my people, like, they don't comment in YouTube, but the people who know how to reach me in other ways, I've heard from like five or six different people who have seen themselves in those messages in ways that I would not have imagined that that is how they were seeing themselves or their relationships. One person is actually seeing a work relationship coming through there. Another is a mother-daughter relationship. I've had two ex-boyfriends come out of the woodwork, one somewhat recently. I mean, not recently, but last year and a half or so, um, come through. And then I've had like a very old relationship come through. So, hello, gentlemen. I just find it fascinating that I can think and see the energy in one particular way, and I give the message because I know it's going to reach you in the way that you need to hear it. And I've just been really tickled and charmed and maybe even a little bit relieved, because the messages have been really tender. A little bit relieved that like it's not just me riffing on my own stuff here. So thank you for those of you who are coming in all the back doors. Please comment below. Please like and share and subscribe. Nobody ever does. It's how I actually grow. It's how people actually see me, by the way. So like I would really like it if you did, but I will also receive you in my DMs and in my text messages and in my email and on the phone. I will receive you that way too, if that is how you are going to choose to communicate with me. The other thing that I want to say before I launch in is I don't know if you all have caught any of the videos of the Kentucky Derby win, but I got to tell you, the Scorpio full moon has had me like really deep in my own shadow work. And I swear it has been the antidote to that shadow work. I have watched those videos probably like 30,000 times in the last 2 days just to like cry happy tears, just to be like, yes, yes, it's brilliant. And for those of you who haven't seen it, or have seen it but haven't seen it from this angle, what I invite you to look at is just the way the divine feminine shows up so beautifully in that win. First of all, Sherry is the first female trainer to win the Kentucky Derby. I also just love that it's that their horse was red, and that she was in bright red, which is the Magdalene. It is the sign, the color of the divine feminine. I love that her jockey is from Puerto Rico. I love that he was riding next to his brother who came in second place. I love that their groom is Guatemalan. I just love, and then the roses, the red roses. I was like, yes. So if you haven't seen it and need a little joy, maybe do what I'm doing and watching it on repeat, like every time a difficult, shadowy something something arises, and you probably have had those because it's just that time energetically. It's a really good antidote. So if you're looking for like some very tangible medicine, I invite you to go there. Go there a lot. It's good. It's really good. All right. So I can't avoid it anymore. I'm gonna go in. So I was standing in my kitchen. I had just come back from walking my daughter to school, and I was contemplating another cup of coffee, which I pretty much knew I didn't need. But when is it about need? I was standing in my kitchen and I heard in stereo, and almost like I knew there were two voices, but almost like there was a chorus of angels and ancestors and guides behind me as well. So I heard in multiple voices, but there were two clear voices and then like a chorus behind them say, here's where my voice goes funny. You have mishandled something precious. You have mishandled something precious. And my two energies appeared, same as yesterday, one here, one here. And they were saying it to one another through the ethers, and they were saying it to themselves as well. You have mishandled something precious. And then the guides were behind them confirming, you have mishandled something precious. And then, but it's okay because it's how we grow. I'm going to say that part again too. It's okay. It's okay to have made this mistake. It's okay because it's how we grow. It is, in fact, the only way we grow. And I just realized I didn't turn off my phone, so I'm going to do that right now. There is a lack of communication in real time. And there is a desire between both of these people to reconnect and heal. And there is a desire in both of these energies to turn their backs and walk away. But the desire to turn their backs and walk away are for two very different reasons. And I want to focus on the silence. I want to focus on what isn't being said, what isn't being communicated, because it's different for these two energies. And so we heard what was communicated, and what was communicated was the truth, and it was like cosmic truth, right? You have mishandled something precious. Both energies have mishandled something precious, and both energies feel mishandled. And we know that it's okay because we know it's how these two people are going to grow. It is how these two people are going to evolve. It is how those structures that I talked about yesterday that went from Tinker Toys to like true something real and true being able to be built either as sovereign beings or both as sovereign beings and possibly together. That mishandling, that feeling of being mishandled is what is going to grow these two energies. And this silence between them now feels so different for each of them. And I want to look at first what is in the middle. And in the middle here, what I feel is, or what I hear, because it's like maybe if it's even a C because I can almost see it spelled out. But what I hear is cocoon, crucible, cauldron, and clarity. I'm going to say those words again. Cocoon, crucible, cauldron, and clarity. That's the shared energy, the energy in the center. And it feels like the energy that's in the center was put into the center by both of these individuals. For one of these entities, it feels like the entity over here. This is where cocoon lives. Here, there is a feeling of transformation on the sovereign level, on the individual level. And to be clear, it's happening for both of them, but over here, it feels like going into a cocoon of protection, of wrapping themselves in silk, wrapping themselves in like layers of clothing. I can see like putting layer upon layer of fabric on here and just bundling up and holding oneself. I am cocooning in. I am shutting off the world. I am shutting down. I am turning inward, and nothing, no one, nada yet. I'm hearing different languages. Nothing is coming in here now. And in some ways, there is great relief here, and there is great comfort here. And it feels like the cocoon has happened here for that clarity. I have to come in here for clarity. I have to come in here for clarity. I have to come in here for clarity. I have to have clarity. I need to cocoon. And over here, lives the crucible, lives the cauldron. lives the energy of that temperance card that I sometimes talk about, which is, on the surface, it's alchemy, it's coming together, it's the middle way, it's like finding the middle path, and it is ultimately clarity, and it can be soft and gentle and cocooning. I'm seeing like sheepskin. It can be that. But the energy that's being experienced over here is the more complex side of the middle path. And that is the like burying the diamond in the earth, or burying the coal in the earth and allowing it to come out a diamond. It feels like pressure. It feels like a pressure system. It feels like uh is the movie, is it Inner Sense? Is that what it's called? I don't know. I'm seeing Martin Short's face like contort in all different directions until he becomes this very tiny little thing, this very tiny little being, and he gets swallowed into someone's body. Um, that's what I'm seeing over here. You know, my guides are interesting. They have a sense of humor. But it is like bubbling cauldron and crucible and fire and pressure and earth. And it's being reflected over here. The one who is cocooning is in no less of a crucible, and the one who is in the crucible is in no less of a cocoon. There's a mirror here, there's mirroring energy. And though these two are not speaking, though these two are not in contact on the physical plane, on the etheric level, the mirroring is happening. And there is a deep feeling of connection and knowing each other's comfort and knowing each other's pain. And I have some advice for the person over here, for the energy over here. And my advice for the person over here is to stay with the energy that is being mirrored to you and reflected through the ethers, and to stay out of your mind. That doesn't mean like, I don't know, take drugs and drink and numb. Don't get literally out of your mind. But stay out of your head and notice when you're going into your head, because I can hear the mind chatter that says the absence of communication, the absence of their voice is the clearest answer. And it's not true. What if the absence of their voice is this softer, gentler place? It's this place of cocooning. It's this place of tending. It's this place of sovereignty. And what if that crucible, what if that cauldron is the battle between your mind and heart? The battle between your human and your soul that knows that the absence of their voice is not the absence of love. The absence of their voice is not the absence of desire. The absence of their voice is merely the stillness they need to find their true voice. And though I tell you I'm not in the business of predicting futures, and I will like dig my heels in so I will grind them into the earth and say, nope, not going there. Too many timelines. Too many timelines available. What I can say in no uncertain terms is that foundation of love that I saw there yesterday is maybe even thicker, deeper, stronger, more formidable. The image that's coming in this foundation of love is the chakra that is beneath the earth. We have so many more chakras than just the 7 that we talk about. There is a soul star, one of your soul or your earth star, if you want to call it that, that is beneath the earth. It's as if I can see these 2 soul stars, these 2 earth stars, deeply connected, deeply rooted in that foundation. I can see these 2 soul stars deeply rooted here in the ethers. These 2 have not left one another, not at all. And the love is still there at the foundation, and the love is coming and pulsing up and down between the earth star and the soul star. This is not a lack of love. This is the cauldron, the crucible, the cocoon. In the absence of the voice, the absence of each other's voice is only in body and nowhere else. We humans are deeply connected, as well we should be, by the way, to what is happening in the physical, and you are being invited to really feel into what's happening in the etheric plane. Each of these individuals actually desires, like I can see the desire to be in an embrace. Each of these individuals wants to be together. And they're both being invited to trust the process. The being over here, the energy over here, is being invited to trust the silence. And the energy over here is being invited to find their voice. And for both of them, for each of them, the end goal, regardless of whether or not they do make it back together, is to both never mishandle what is precious to them. again, and to never allow their precious selves to be mishandled again. And to trust that when, if they do come together, that new structure already exists. It will be something completely new. It will be the next level up. It will be deeply rooted between that Earth star and that soul star, which it already is. And it will be so clear for each of them that it is exactly where they belong. And until that clarity comes all the way in, and unless that clarity comes all the way in, they're being invited to move through the cocoon, the crucible, the cauldron. And I can see where they're each going to be dancing with all three of those, and that the clarity will come together in the center, whether they come together or not. No lack of love, no lack of desire, just the lack of the right words, the right way, the deep clarity that needs to come. This is what I have. I think that's all I have. Sorry, I heard something else. And then I'm also hearing out here, my neighbor's house has been painted and they've got one of those guns. And for like 5 days straight, it's like a tsit, 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 and it's making me a little nutty. All right, enough. Please like, share, subscribe, comment below. Maybe I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.